Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today, new patch 7.31. As you see here, that's in Greek, so enjoy Greek, time to dedicate. Before I start this video, as usual, what I want to say is that if you are Gaben, thank you very much, because it's 3:30 in the morning and I have to make a YouTube video. So, from the bottom of my heart, thank you, Gaben. And second of all, if you're interested in coaching, I have a link down below for a free session. If you're actually one of my subscribers, please, I can't speak English right now, it's 3:30, so let us see the new patch and let's go.
Moving up and down, side to side like a roller coaster.
So the first thing that says, add Mars to Captain's mode. Well, I don't get to play Captain's mode, so I don't really care about that. Roshan will now attack ward units if there are no other units within melee range. Roshan attacks will immediately destroy any ward type of unit. Probably this is because Shadow Summon was absolutely busted, and this is a way to actually fix Shadow Summon. Shadow Mind Stealer, mana aura reduced from 2.5 to 2. That's probably because what they nerf is that they nerfed the medium Shatter. That was mana burning and also giving mana. That was really strong on position 4 and 5 Doom, so I understand. So let us see. Bracer, HP regen reduced. What? Man, can we just fucking nerf this item? So all my students just buy this item and just don't want to sell it. So if you're, by the way, looking at the camera, if you're actually a Bracer or Null Talisman enjoyer, it's fine to sell this item after 20 minutes in. Null Talisman no longer grants mana cost reduction. Now grants 3% max mana. So all of a sudden, Null Talisman is really good with OD. That's interesting. Mana regen increased from 0.6 to 0.25. Let me get the camera one click down. There you go. So you can see more of Jeff. Healing Salve. Duration is halved when cast on an ally. Okay, man. Cost decrease. So instead of 13 seconds, it's going to be 60.5. That's going to be really good. That means supports, if you're in this channel, you're probably support. That means supports are going to suffer. BKB increased to 90 seconds. Now, that's interesting because a lot of people want BKB to get removed, but it's impossible because heroes like Scarlet Mage and Crystal Maiden and Dark Willow, they're going to become really strong. All the spellcasters. But this is really interesting. This is really interesting nerf. That means maybe heroes like Jack and Lifestealer become really strong. Butterfly bonus agility. Okay, Butterfly is a little bit niched as item. Crimson Guard damage block increase 735 to 7550. Okay, the problem with Crimson is just really good versus Zoo, but we're not in a Zoo meta. Even though we get to see a lot of 5-man, we're not in a Zoo meta. Linken's cooldown increased. Definitely, Linken's is kind of cheap right now. I think I like the nerf, and I think it's actually well balanced. Mainly because everybody can just buy casual Linken's right now. It's a bit cheap. Satanic, active lifesteal reduced from 200 to 175. Sure. Eternal Shroud, an item that we don't really get to see. Magic resistance increased. Shroud cooldown reduced. That's a decent buff in an item that we don't really get to see. So I kind of like that, honestly. Bloodstone, spell lifesteal increased. So we only get to see spell lifesteal on Leshrac. So the only hero that probably buys Bloodstone with some meme heroes, some maybe Timbersaw stuff like that, is Leshrac. And Bloodpack cooldown reduced. So maybe that's the way, give too much spell lifesteal for a hero, not only just Leshrac and Timbersaw to buy it. Revenant Browse. This is a counter, an expensive counter to Ghost Scepter. Cooldown reduced from 45 seconds to 25 seconds. Okay. That means it's still not that big of a difference, because usually when you want to see cooldowns, the first thing that you want to see is, can I use it twice in a fight? Yes or no. Otherwise, the cooldown reduction might be irrelevant. Cooldown now starts after all attacks run out. Okay. Mana cost increased, no longer consumes an attack when hitting a magic immune target. That's really good. You can now cast Revenant's Browse while active to remove all remaining attacks and start the cooldown. You can now cast Revenant's Brooch while active to remove all remaining attacks and start the cooldown. Okay. Wraith Pact, model size increased. Okay. Attacks to destroy from 5 Thor, sure. Gold bound increased to 100. Yeah, this is more like a Juggernaut healing word, when cast, it will automatically follow the caster. That's both a buff and a nerf. Because usually heroes like Pagna, Wind Ranger, Miranas, Weavers, as in the support role, they used to take this item and then they would just use it, and then it wouldn't follow them. They would just disengage, but they would use the Wraith Pact to just go in. So I think that's really cool, because now the way they make the item is we're gonna get rid of, we're gonna see a lot of Mars and Beastmaster Wraith Pact. I'm pretty confident of that. Let's jump on the hero though to see what's going on. Alchemist, Shard mana cost reduced, whatever. Chemical Rage increased. Okay, that's a cute buff. That's a cute buff. Bristleback, 0% win rate with Bristleback when I have him on my team, 100% when I play against. What is this? Cast range increased from 600 to 650. Okay, release threshold reduced from 210 to 200. Whatever. Centaur, stand duration increase. Centaur is definitely a hero that we don't really get to see a lot, so they increase a little bit the stand duration. It's still whatever. Chaos Knight, a hero that's you know, a lot into the meta. Damage reduced on Chaos Bolt from 90 to 220. Okay, 60. Okay, they kind of nerfed a lot, you know. They kind of nerfed a lot his level 1 power spike. If you see, it goes from 60, from 90 to 60. That's a big difference, you know. And from 180 to 120, that's a big nerf. Because we don't really care about the late numbers. We care about Chaos Knight is the type of hero that stomps a lane, okay? Battery Assault deals 2 damage to Chris. Maybe Clockwork Position 3 is back. Crystal Maiden, base strength reduced from 18 to 17. Thank you, Gaben. Mass needed nerf. Cast range increased. That's really good. That is really good. And slow duration increased. Okay, I really say that Crystal Maiden is a really good position for right now. If you're a CM player, please pick that shot on the position 4. It's really good. She has like so many buffs constantly, like for a year right now. It's really good. Darkseer, also a hero that we don't really get to see. Base agility increased. Okay, mana cost reduced on the surge. Sure, let me grab some water. Vacuum damage increased. That's a big nerf. Sorry, that's a big buff, because usually you get to have vacuum level 1, and vacuum level 1 it's a big difference right now. So definitely we want to, that's soda water. We want to get vacuum level 2 on Darkseer right now. So I really like this. I really like this buff a lot. Maybe we make Darkseer viable, because Darkseer, his biggest weakness is until level 3, where he gets Ion Cell level 2. Dark Willow, cooldown reduced on Shadow Realm from 26 seconds to 14 to 10. Okay, so that means that usually your dilemma is what spells do you max on Shadow Realm, and sometimes you have to max Shadow Realm on Willow. What spells do you actually max? Some guys go from the Q maxed, some guys for the W, no one goes for the E, but right now with that actually buff, they might go for 1 skill point on Shadow Realm, max all the other spells, and then they'll just max the stun as well. Dawnbreaker, I have made a guide on Dawnbreaker, make sure that you watch that. Strength growth reduced. Fuck. Luminosity, critical damage increased. Okay, that's a 20% critical, so maybe position 3 Dawnbreaker with Wraith Pact. Solar Guardian, cooldown reduced. Oh, that's cute. That's fine. Maybe not that great, because we get to see on the support these type of things, you know, the first couple of levels. Let's see Dazzle. Dazzle is a type of hero that was a lot of hype when it you know, it got you know, with the new Aghanims, a lot of hype, but I haven't really seen that much Dazzle in my games. Shard Herc's duration increased. That's good. I like that. From 125 to 2 seconds. That's good. Bad Juju, damage heal per stack increased. I still don't think it's enough to make him that much viable. Maybe again in a core position he would be better. But you know, when you compare position 3 Dazzle to Visage or Necrophos or Pagna, you feel like Dazzle is not that strong. Disruptor, static storm duration increased. Cute buff, not enough to make to change. Usually this, you know, Disruptors and all these heroes, they change according to the enemy carries. For example, if something really bulky, then Disruptor is not the greatest hero. If it's something like a Void, for example, where you can just glimpse him back, then Disruptor is the type of hero that all of a sudden it's good against him. Dragonite, base agility reduced by 3, shard duration reduced from 10 to 8 seconds. That means it kind of hurts him split push wise. Shard away reduced. Okay, that's good. I like this nerf. Still strong, hero strong. Draw Ranger, 2 multi-shot waves increased to 3. Okay, bro, 3 multi-shot waves. That is a lot because you have the 12% extra marksmanship chance, and then you have 3 multi-shot waves. Before you, when it was debatable. Right now it's a no-brainer. 3 multi-shot waves, and that's actually a lot. Earthshaker, an also forgotten hero, stun duration on Aftershock increased. So that means if we have the core Earthshaker with only level 2 Aftershock, can you actually change stun if you go for 1-2-2 build? Because usually you go on 3 levels in Aftershock, you see, 3 levels in Aftershock to change stun. But the question is, with 2 levels in Aftershock, can you actually change stun? I don't know, I have to test that honestly. Astral Spirit, Elder Titan, bonus spirit per creep increased, cooldown increased. Okay. I don't think this hero, it has a lot of popularity sometimes. Sometimes you can even solo win games, but I'm not really sure. I'm not some kind of Elder Titan, but it's like, to me, this changes seems whatever. Ember Spirit, base strength increased. Interesting. Cast range reduced on Sleight of Fist. Still annoying hero, still really strong, still playable. Jeff approves. Enigma, the cooldown increase. I said that nerf. Make actual demonic conversation so you can use it once every 3 creep waves. I love this. Really good. Faceless Void, Time Walk, Aghanim Scepter radius increased. Second attack delay increased. I mean, okay. The problem with Void is that, if you get Axe and go to the late game, the Faceless Void is a beast anyway. So I'm not really sure. I mean, okay, it's cute to have that, but usually you get Axe from 3rd Roshan or something like that. Usually you have more important things. Maybe in some position 3 role, but I don't think this buff is a lot to actually justify position 3 Faceless Void. A Grimstroke, radius reduced. Sage, cooldown increased. That's annoying. Because that's actually his main strength. Grimstroke main strength, which is Inkswell with Shard and minus 5 second talent, minute 10 on level 10 with the talents. But okay, still playable, I want to believe. Husker, Inner Fire, damage rescaled. They actually decreased the damage a little bit, but early on just deals more damage. Still annoying as fuck hero. If you're a Husker player, don't be. My beloved Kotal, Keeper of the Light, damage rescale from 200, 300, 400, 500 to 185 to 90. Okay, here's the tricky part about that. Some jungle creeps, because when you used to go mid Kotal and you used to have level 3 Illuminate when you were level 5, you could actually just queue the small camp with level 3 Illuminate, and then maybe right click. Right now you have a little bit below damage, so that's interesting buff. Actually that's interesting nerf, because it is a nerf. And definitely if you faced Kotal, it's too hard to deal with him in the mid lane, because you don't really get to interact with him. You don't really have an opportunity to mess up with him. My beloved Legion Commander, Moment of Courage, cooldown decreased. Let's fucking go. Yes. Level 15 talent. Overwhelming odds, damage per second increase. So in level 15, you have actually pressy attack plus 40 heal per second. But sometimes overwhelming odds, damage per hero plus 100. It's actually a lot of... Maybe it's even better, versus many summoned units like and Beastmaster. I just say that because today I played an LC and actually got this talent on 75 overwhelming odds. Leshrac. Recently I've been playing Leshrac in the mid lane and I find some success. It's like Lina in my mind. But it's like Lina, but I feel like you just get Shard, you just Yules, maybe even Wraith Pact, but not the new Wraith Pact, right? So maybe Yules and then Shard and you're just good to go. Number of targets increased. I don't really see how I'm gonna hit 11 targets. Damage rescaled from 90. They actually reduced my mana because I used to actually get more levels on Lightning Storm. That's a little bit unfortunate. Fuck. Come on, Gaben. Leech, mana cost reduced. Ah, man, Leech. Sorry to tell you, Leech, but Crystal Maiden is a better version of you. Lifestealer. Enemy max health has damage increased from 0.6 to... Okay, that's a small 0.2. If you see, like 0.2 from 0.6. Okay. Thanks, man. Where's Lifestealer? Hello. From 1.2 to 1.4, and Lifestealer was already good versus high health strength heroes like Tiny, like Sven. So this talent actually allows him to be, and Lifestealer of course, allows him to be better versus this type of heroes, which he was already in the first place. Lina, stack duration increased from 15 to 80 seconds. Shard bonus damage increased. Okay, now that means we are gonna see a crap load of shard. Maybe here we go again, a crap load of shard, and stack duration increased. That's a big buff. I don't see why they have to buff Lina. Honestly, she's just too strong of a laner. You might as well just live here with a weakness. Lion. Watch Lion guide. Projectile speed increased. Poggers. Nice. Hex cooldown decreased from 30 seconds to 24. Because the latest level is the same as you see. But, I mean, that's a good buff. That's a good buff, honestly. I'm not going to say no. Luna, I forgot and carry. Lucian Beam damage increased. Sure. Level 25. Eclipse Lucian mini stun increased. Whatever. That's a good buff, but sure. That's a good buff. Lycan, critical damage increased from 150, 175 to 100. Lycan, I feel like this buff where they just increase your right click a little bit, maybe they just try to make him a position 3 that's going to buy a Nags and that's going to buy a Wraith Pact. Because actually, not the thing about Wraith Pact actually follows Lycan, right? Because Wraith Pact is going to follow the buyer, so that's really interesting. Maybe it's time for Wraith Pact Lycan. That's gonna be my thumbnail, by the way. Magnus, slow increased on Skewer, sure. Shockwave, Scepter Erupt armor reduction, Scepter damage percentage increased, and Scepter moves with slow. Man, okay, I think if you play support Magnus, that's not gonna happen. If you play position 3, you might as well just buy shard and stuff. My beloved Marcy, my 65% position 5 Marcy, let's go. Unleash, cooldown decreased by 10. Cute, I like that. Dispose, throw distance reduced. Why? Fixed thrown enemies being able to cast spells for 1 frame before being stunned. Thank you. Mars, base damage decreased by 3. Okay. Stun duration reduced from 1.6 to 2.8. Okay, 0.2. Mars, I feel like he was a lot of balanced hero, but maybe the stun duration on Mars was too much, because then you get the 0.8 talent. You had like 3.5k talent, 3.5 seconds stun on Mars, so that was really good. Night Stalker, a hero that has been nerfed for many patches in a row, and I still think he's busted. I still think he's really strong. Mana cost increased from 80-90. So mana cost increased, and NS has already mana issues. But if you're an NS player, or if you want to learn how to play NS, please buy Shard. It's absolutely busted. This 10 mana is gonna hurt a little bit at our laning stage, but buy Shard and you should be fine. Buy it at 50 minutes in, you should be fine. Omni Knight, what's the Omni Knight guide? Bonus base damage rescaled on Hammer of Purity from 60, 70, 80, 90 to 100. So it's like they try to make him a core, but boys, it's just not gonna work out. Come on, like, don't nerf his fucking laning stage as a support. It makes no sense. This is classic Valve move. They reduce a little bit the support numbers, they buff up the later number where you might get benefit from the support, like they did with Silencer, like they did what was the other hero? Pagna? Was it Pagna? I think it was Pagna. And you're just in this in-between situation, like Abaddon as well, where No, you're either a good support, you're not a good core as well. Pango, cooldown on Shield Crush increased. Yes, this hero is busted. Duration reduced from 4 seconds to 2.5 seconds. Really now? Rollup is a shard? I think rollup is a shard. Only 2.5 seconds? So it's gonna be like a face-if, like to disengage from something. PL, a hero that's also really forgotten. Cooldown on double Nanger from 25 seconds to actually 19. Okay, that's a big boost. And level 20, 5% juxtapose damage increased to 8%. That's a big buff, but at the same time you have plus 300 Phantom Rush, which I don't think what you go. Let's go on Pudge. Base damage increased by 3. Damage block increased from 2020. Okay, boys, you've heard it here. Pudge core is back. 28 means that Juggernaut is gonna spin you, you're gonna use Flesh Heap, and you will not actually receive any damage. 3 base damage, man. Okay. Pagna, Netherworld, damage per used mana reduced from 125, 1.5, 175. So they reduce damage per used, but 0.25. And damage reduction reduced 5%. I think that's really good because 25% on Pagna were just too much damage reduction. Tricks of the Trade cooldown reduced. Ricky a bit forgotten as a hero. They don't really buff the late game. They just reduce the early stages. Shadow Demon, hit damage increased from 26, 34, 50 to 60. Sure, I'm not a fan of Shadow Demon. I think he has a really weird laning stage. He might win it or lose it in a really obvious way, so I'm not really sure about that. Shadow Fiend, max fear duration increased from 2.4 to 2.7. Okay. 3 second AoE fear. Okay, man. Silencer, strength growth reduced, mana cost decreased. Now this is a good support buff, for example, because this is a spell that you usually max. This is a really good support buff. Thank you, Gavin. Slark base damage increased. Slark a hero that's in a really bad situation. Duration rescaled. That's a big buff though. Early on, that's a big buff early on. It's 25 more. This is like hurtful that, you know, it got rescaled, but 80 seconds is like the same as 100 in a way. But this 20 second might allow you to, because usually you go for 4-1-1 build, you get 1 level in Essence Shift. There are some exceptions where you go 2, but right now you can actually just kill it once. Sniper, assassinate increased. Nice, cute buff. Base attack speed increased on Sven. Tetsis, I don't care about Tetsis. Honestly, sorry about that. You can just read it. I just don't care about the hero. TB, bonus attack damage increased. Really big buff. Really big buff because level 1 Metamorphosis was an absolutely clown spell. If you're a TB player, I'm sorry. This is how I felt when I used to lane with Terrorblade. But like Metamorphosis level 1 right now is actually really good. Really good. Timbersaw, base strength increased. Okay. Max distance cast range reduced from 800 to 750, so just 50 range, that's fine. Tinker, cast range increased on defense matrix, and Warp Flare, this is probably his sword, whatever. Taskar, speed increased on Snowball by 25, that's fine. Tag team, slow duration increase. Cute buffs, nothing special. Ursa, hero that I actually don't really get to see lately. Move speed increased, move speed slow, so you slow more, so that's really big buff. So sometimes you actually skip on Airsock and sometimes you just pick it up, but I think that with 22% slow level 1 you definitely just pick up Airsock level 2. Venge base damage by 2, max damage per charge reduced. I was expecting a bit more nerfs on Visage. Warlock, 10 movement speed. Why can't you just do that on my beloved Crystal Maiden and you just do it on fucking Warlock? I just don't get it, you know? Just why? I mean, this hero is just a heal bomb anyway. Regardless, Upheaval max slow increased from Okay, Upheaval actually is a spell. It's the third spell. So people don't really get to skill it. I think it's really good. But right now, that's a big buff. Level 1, from 40% to 55%. That's big. And cast range decreased. Why would you decrease that? So you will not cancel Black Holes on Enigma? Why? Like, this hero is barely being played. I don't understand why you would ever nerf. I mean, like, chaotic offering is all he has. I don't get it. Weaver. Geminate attack damage bonus increased. Cute. You don't really get to see a lot of Weaver position 1, mainly because with a tiny Chaos Knight, they just blink, stun, and you just die, or you just die to Silver Edge. So Weaver is like good when heroes like that she can kite and cannot one-shot her, like Lifestealer. This is when Weaver is actually good in the meta. Seb here, Jail Force, short push speed, okay. Witch Doctor cooldown on Death Ward, and it's whatever. I've never felt fan of Death Ward, but I guess it's like fan of Witch Doctor, but I think this is good. And Zeus position 2 or 4, because I get to play position 4 Zeus lately. Heavenly Jump duration increased from 1 to 1.6. That means if you're in position 4 Zeus, you can actually gank mid lane and you can go for 1-for-1 build instead of the 0-4-2 build that I had before. So it's a really small buff right now. It's a really small buff. And the main changes for me personally is that there are 3 changes. Of course, Crystal Maiden busted as always. And number 1 is where is it? Where is it? The Lycan, okay? They try to make Lycan a position 3 that's gonna buy Axe. Wraith back into Axe is probably gonna be the build. I think that's gonna be a thing, sadly. With the Wraith Pact, if you see here being actually, following, it says when it casts, it will automatically follow the caster. So with Lycan, it's gonna be really cool. Number 2 for me is, and the most important one, is Pudge. These people might make fun of it, but I think like Pudge was already really strong core. The fact that you can actually, I don't know, maybe even get level 1 hook, honestly, man, and go for something like 1-2-2 build, or even, because 14 is really big. It's just really big, and this 28 is just huge. It's just huge. And most importantly, Shadowfiend after Pudge, actually before Pudge, this AoE is really good. I think that the 3 heroes that we're gonna see, Shadowfiend players are gonna come back. I think maybe even something like, I don't want to say like, but this is a big change because they buffed it the previous patch and now they buff his ult again. 2.5 seconds is too much, Even if you just get an Arcane Blink, into 5 people, you just ulti. No need to blow up anyone, and then you just 3-second 5-man 3-second stun for 5 people. It's just too much. The numbers are just too many. So guys, that's a replay analysis. Again, if you're new to the channel, my name is Jeff, and what we do here, we make support videos. We learn how to lane as support, we learn how to play support, we learn how to think as support. GG, Raza, this is patch 7.31, and I'll see you in the next video.